If you're a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo 3DS owner, these Nintendo Directs that come out are kind of like Christmas for you. You get a bunch of information about games that you knew were coming out, a bunch of information about new projects that are being worked on, and it's really a fun time. It's always fun to discuss things that are going on within the world of Nintendo, especially if you own a Nintendo platform. Now, of course, there are some heavy rumors floating around right now that there's going to be at least one Nintendo Direct in the month of November, but I've been actually hearing that there's going to be two Nintendo Directs in the month of November, which would be kind of unprecedented. You don't really see two Directs in the same month, but I think it kind of makes sense in this situation. So basically in this video, I want to go over what the rumors are saying for some of the Nintendo Directs, what I think about those rumors, and then what I would like to see in these Nintendo Directs. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into these two Nintendo Directs that are potentially coming in the month of November.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So the first Nintendo Direct for the month of November is the one that we have more information about. So we'll talk about that first, and then I'll get into my thoughts about it. This is coming to us from a website called GamingIntel.com. Now, admittedly, I've never heard of GamingIntel.com, but it seems like their track record, as far as leaks are concerned, is pretty good with Nintendo Directs. They previously talked about the last Nintendo Direct, how there was going to be a delay, when that delay was going to be up, and when the Nintendo Direct would actually showcase. And they were pretty spot on and all that. So I feel like it definitely is worth talking about because it seems like they have a decent enough insider. Now, this information is basically saying that between November 5th and November 12th, there will be a Nintendo Direct, the first Nintendo Direct of the month of November. And what is this Nintendo Direct going to be about? Smash Brothers. And man, like, okay, let's talk about Smash Brothers, for instance. I like Smash Brothers. I'm definitely a casual Smash Brothers player. I enjoy all of the lore of all of the characters that they use in the game. I enjoy the fact that they use third-party IPs and put it into this basically party-style fighting game that's really fun, but I never play it really super competitively. So back during E3 2018, I was a bit disappointed by what Nintendo did by showcasing so much Smash Brothers, because I felt like they could have talked about other titles. They could have talked about third-party collaborations or third-party games in the future, or even games for 2019 and beyond on the Nintendo Switch. I do realize that there is a huge Smash Brothers audience, and I'm totally cool with that. And as a casual player, I did enjoy learning more about the characters that were in the game, but it just felt a bit like overkill. And then, of course, we had another Smash Brothers dedicated Direct, and that one was actually kind of cool, admittedly. I enjoyed learning about the new characters, such as the Belmonts that were coming to the game. And since then, we've had more information about Smash Brothers. Of course, Nintendo constantly tweets out information about Smash Brothers and updates things, sends out press releases. We, of course, have had Isabelle confirmed for Smash Brothers during the last Nintendo Direct, so it seems like they're kind of shifting away from maybe the Smash-centric Directs. Now, I totally get why they would do another Smash-centric Direct, as this is their big game for the rest of the year. Obviously, December is going to be Smash Brothers month on the Nintendo Switch. This is the big Nintendo Switch game for the rest of the year, but I feel like there are other games that could be talked about, and I know what you're saying to yourself, well, they could simply talk about those games in the other Nintendo Direct, but I actually have some theories about that Nintendo Direct that we'll get into in a minute. So basically, I would like to see a more spread out Nintendo Direct for this November one. I think it will have a Smash-centric, theme to it, and definitely a Smash-centric vibe to it, but I feel like there are other games worth talking about. If we're going by this time frame for when this is supposedly happen between November 5th and November 12th, you can also talk about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, because that's obviously another massive game for the Nintendo Switch that will not be out, because that comes out on the 16th, I believe, of November. So you could talk about that game too. There's also games like Warframe that is dropping at the end of November that we haven't really seen anything about. We haven't heard much about it, and while it is popular on other platforms, I feel like Nintendo Switch owners would like to know about the Nintendo Switch version of the game, how it's going to work, sort of an introduction into the game. Of course, there are some other third-party titles that are releasing in the month of November and December, but I definitely don't want to see another Smash Brothers centric Direct. I think it's fine as long as other stuff is included in it, but to do another Direct just based on Smash Brothers, it it kind of gets rid of the mystery of the game. Yes, there are still game modes we don't know about. We don't know if there's going to be any sort of traditional single player mode, and I think that's something we need to pretty much learn about, but I feel like things like that can be done via social media or via press releases. I don't think another Smash Brothers only event is really necessary or really needed, but I can definitely see Nintendo doing something like that. Now, of course, there is the second Nintendo Direct that is rumored for the month of November, and we don't really have much information about it, but I do have a couple ideas of what it could be. So, first, if they do a Smash Brothers only Direct, this could simply be a Direct for other titles and other games. Obviously, there are games coming out in the spring that we still need to learn about. Release dates of these games as well. Games like Daemon X Machina, games like Fire Emblem. When are these games coming out? Showcase some more gameplay information on it. Showcase some more gameplay in general on these games. And of course, give release dates for these games. Because really, the spring lineup for the Nintendo Switch is getting pretty stacked with things like New Super Mario Bros. Switch and things like that. So I definitely think there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, of course, they could also do a Nindy showcase. We haven't had a Nindy showcase in quite a while, and there's obviously a lot of Nindy games coming out. There's a bunch coming out in November, there's a bunch coming out in December, and it could be a good place to announce some new games. Hopefully, they do a little bit of a better job than the last Nindy showcase. I wasn't a huge fan of it because I felt like they showcased too many 2D style games, which is weird because I'm a retro gamer and I enjoy 2D style games, but I would have liked to have seen some more variety. I felt that it kind of bogged it down by having so many games look so similar throughout the whole presentation. But there's a couple other things that they could do with this Nintendo Direct. Now, what is something that they've done Directs for? Mobile games. And we haven't heard anything about a mobile game that was supposedly releasing in 2018. And what game is that? That is the Mario Kart mobile game. And of course, like I said, they've done stuff for Super Mario Run. They did one for Animal Crossing. They did one for Fire Emblem as well. So I definitely think it's time to showcase some information about Mario Kart Mobile. And while mobile games aren't really my cup of tea, I think Mario Kart Mobile is going to be a huge game. I don't even know how it's going to work. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what sort of gameplay it's going to have. There's so many questions about that, but it definitely seems like that could be something that they would do a full Nintendo Direct on, because that thing, I honestly feel like is going to be an absolute cash cow. It depends how they structure it. It depends how they set it up as far as microtransactions and things like that, because let's face it, a lot of these games are free to play, and then there are microtransactions added on top of that, and you can get cosmetics, different courses, different cars, and things like that. So I definitely foresee something like that happening with this Mario Kart mobile game, because it's going to be a huge cash cow for Nintendo. Now, as far as the other theory that I have, this is a bit more far-fetched, but it seems like work as far as the Nintendo world in Universal Studios is starting to come along very well. We're getting more and more information about this, and it feels like maybe they could do a Nintendo Direct based on that. Because let's be honest, something like a theme park based on the world of Nintendo would have a lot of publicity going along with it. We've never seen anything like this before. Sure, there's been exhibits at video games at different theme parks and things like that, but as far as a dedicated built from the ground up thing, we've never seen anything like that before. It's definitely sort of transcending video games and going way more into the mainstream stuff. What sort of rides will there be? Concept art of things like that. So I definitely think that's something else they could go with. It's definitely more of a long shot. I really feel like the second Nintendo Direct is going to be based on the Mario Kart mobile app, just depending on how far along that game is and how far the game is in development and when that game is coming out. But I definitely think it makes sense. So all in all, I think there will definitely be at least one Nintendo Direct in the month of November. Personally, I hope it is not just a Smash specific one. I hope that they can focus on Smash. They can do, a good portion, 50%, 60% of it on Smash Brothers. But I feel like there's other titles that need to be talked about. There's other surprises that need to be unveiled, because those are usually the most fun Nintendo Directs in my opinion. I like going into a Nintendo Direct expecting some surprises. Yes, we still need to learn about the Smash Brothers single player. Yes, we still need to learn about new characters, because we're assuming that there's still going to be more characters in this game. Are there bigger third-party IPs coming over? A lot of people have been saying Dante from Devil May Cry could end up in Smash Brothers on the Nintendo Switch, which would be absolutely crazy in my opinion. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered with Smash Brothers, but I feel like there's more questions about the Nintendo Switch's spring lineup that need to be answered more so. So definitely a very exciting time. I'm really looking forward to at least this one Nintendo Direct in the month of November. I think it's definitely safe to bank on the fact that there will be one in November, but I do think it's feasible that there will be a second one. And if there's a second one, more than likely that will be on the Mario Kart mobile game, because I think that's going to be an absolute cash cow for Nintendo and something that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to. So let me know in the comments section down below what you think of all this. Do you think that there's going to be any Nintendo Directs in the month of November? Do you think that Nintendo should do another Smash Brothers centric Direct and not talk about other titles, or do you think it should be more of a blend? And what do you think about Mario Kart Mobile? Is that something you're actually going to check out? Admittedly, I did check out things like Pokemon Go and Super Mario Run on the cell phone, so more than likely I will at least check out Mario Kart Mobile. And as always, thank you for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel. Check out all the links in the description box down below. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.